Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Psalms, the 132nd chapter, a song of degrees. Lord Yahweh, remember David and all his afflictions, how he sware unto the Lord Yahweh, and vowed unto the mighty God of Jacob. Surely I will not come into the tabernacle of my house, nor go up into my bed. I will not give sleep to mine eyes, or slumber to my eyelids, until I find out a place for the Lord Yahweh, and habitation for the mighty God of Jacob. And this is basically, David saying like he's not going to rest until, he builds that house for the Lord, right? He had that desire to build a house for the Lord, which the Lord eventually told him, that he wanted Solomon to do it. And David, still in his zeal, he gathered all the things necessary, the materials, the gold, set everything in order for Solomon to be able to implement it. Psalm 132:6, lo, we heard of it at Ephratah, we found it in the fields of the wood. And this is dealing with the ark. Okay, it says here in the NLT, right? We heard that the ark was in Ephratah, which is in Bethlehem, or it's another name for Bethlehem. Let me say that. But it's also, let me see, we'll look it up here. I think another name also for Ephraim. Yeah, Ephrath or Ephrathah, place of fruitfulness, a place near Bethel where Rachel died and was buried. Another name for Bethel, or Slakia for Bethlehem. Okay. Or as it says, perhaps Ephraim. So going back, so basically, they're saying here, right? We heard the ark. We heard where the ark was, and we went and found it. Right? When it says that we found it in the fields of the wood. Now, the fields of the wood, it's referring to that place where they went and got the ark. We'll get a precept for it in First Chronicles, but it's what is that? Kirjath Jearim, right? First Chronicles, because that's what the name means. First Chronicles, let's get that in 13 and 5. So David gathered all Israel together from Shihor of Egypt, even unto the entering of Hemath, to bring the ark of God from Kirjath Jearim. Now, when you go, the prefix Kirjath is city of. Again, Jearim is like woods or forest. And what do you have in the forest? Wood. Okay, it says here, Quarayath Ya'ai Rayam, okay, which is city of forests. Okay, and like I said, what do you have in the forest? Wood, right? Kirjath Jearim. So here, when it mentions that, what verse was that? Verse 6. Yeah, we heard of it at Ephratah. We found it in the fields of the wood. Okay, it says here, we will go into his tabernacles. We will worship at his footstool. All right, that's that eagerness, to serve the Lord. Arise, O Yahweh, into thy rest, thou and the ark of thy strength. Because remember, right, David desired to build the temple, but eventually Solomon did. But this is by basically inviting the Lord, right, into, a house, a habitation. Let thy priests be clothed with righteousness, and let thy saints shout for joy. For thy servant David's sake, turn not away thy face, or the face of thine anointed, right? Which is David being the one who was anointed king. Remember, the Lord instructed Samuel to go and anoint him. For the Lord Yahweh hath sworn in truth unto David, he will not turn from it. Of the fruit of thy body will I set upon thy throne. Right? And who is that? That's referring to Yahushua. Okay, let's go real quick to the book of Acts, chapter 2, verse 30. Yahushua is the fruit, meaning a descendant of David. You see how it says of the fruit of thy body? Now, how would Yahushua be of the fruit of the body, meaning physically a descendant of David, if Joseph never had sex with Mary, because Joseph was a fruit of the body of David. He was a physical descendant of David. Now, if he never put his seed in Mary, how would that have been the case? Acts 2:30 says, therefore, being a prophet, and knowing that God had sworn with an oath to him, that of the fruit of his loins, that's one of his descendants, according to the flesh, see that? According to the flesh, a physical descendant of David, he would raise up Hamashiach, the anointed, to sit on his throne. See this? And that anointed came on the earth as a man by the name of Yahushai, that, we bore witness to, right? Going back to the apostles, right? The disciples that he gathered and the testimonies they gave. So this is Psalms chapter 132, going back, continuing in verse 12. If thy children will keep my covenant and my testimony, that I shall teach them, their children shall also sit upon thy throne forevermore. And that's what the Lord told David, right? As long as you follow my ways, you'll always have a light before me. For the Lord Yahweh hath chosen Zion, he hath desired it for his habitation. That's the place the Lord chose. All right, which is Zion is also another name for Jerusalem. And that's why he had the temple, set over there. This is my rest forever. So on one hand, it's, referring to the place where the Lord desired to have the temple built, right, in Jerusalem, but also referring to the people that the Lord would dwell amongst, which is Jerusalem or Israel, because Jerusalem is also a people before a place, right, where the people are, that's where the Lord Spirit is. This is my rest forever. Here will I dwell, for I have desired it. I will abundantly bless her provision. I will satisfy her poor with bread. Okay, and spiritually, we are likened unto the poor. And what is the bread that we have been satisfied with? Let's go real quick. I believe this is John 6:32 or 31. Our fathers did eat manna in the desert, as it is written, he gave them bread from heaven. Then Yahushua said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, Moses gave you not that bread from heaven, but my Father giveth you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is he which cometh down from heaven and giveth life unto the world. Who is that? Yahushua. You see that? Then said they unto him, Lord, evermore give us this bread. And Yahushua said unto them, I am the bread of life. He that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst. See that? So, right here, we are likened spiritually unto the poor that are being satisfied. See? Because we'll never hunger with the bread of life, which is Yahushua. But also, on a carnal level, right, the Lord, as he said, basically he would satisfy us, right? We will never, want for anything. I will also clothe her priest with salvation. And are we not all made priests, okay, with our high priest Yahushua in the heavens? So he's going to clothe us with salvation, which is deliverance, and her saints, which are Israelites, shall shout aloud for joy. That's rejoicing. There will I make the horn of David to bud. I have ordained a lamp for mine anointed. So it says here in the NLT, here I will increase the power of David. My anointed one will be the light for my people. Okay, which here, in the sense of David, it's him being a leader or a guidance, as king over the people. But also looking at it in the spirit, who is the true anointed of the Lord? Literally, his title, his name is Hamashiach, right? Yahushua. And he is that light, that lamp. His enemies will I clothe with shame, but upon himself shall his crown flourish. Okay, and that brings us dealing with the anointed, and that's first and foremost Yahushua, but also David, right? Because he's going to be under Yahushua. And that brings us to the end of the book of Psalms, the 132nd chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushua, Bahasham Racha Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.